live with the book of Jubilees. Oh, Jubilee. Jubilee, oh, Jubilee. This is how we do it at Helpology. We go to the book of Jubilees. That's number 8.
Yoelim, Jubilees 8, in the 29th Yoelim, Jubilees 1. And it came to pass in the first year of the Exodus of the children of Yashara'el, of Mitzrayim, in the 3rd month, on the 16th day of the month, that Elohim spoke to Moshe, saying, Come up to me on the mount, and I will give you 2 sapphire stones of the Torah and of the commandment which I have written, that you may teach them. And Moshe went up into the mount of Elohim, and the glory of Yahuwah abode on Mount Sinai, and the cloud overshadowed it 6 days. And he called to Moshe on the 7th day out of the midst of the cloud. And the appearance of the glory of Yahuwah was like a flaming fire on the top of the mount. And Moshe was on the mount 40 days and 40 nights. And Elohim taught him the earlier and the later history of the division of all the days of the Torah and of the testimony. And he said, Incline your heart to every word which I shall speak to you on this mount, and write them in a sefer, in order, that their generations may see how I have not forsaken them for all the evil which they have wrought in transgressing the covenant which I establish between me and you for their generations this day on Mount Sinai. And thus it will come to pass, when all these things come upon them, that they will recognize that I am more righteous than they, in all their judgments and in all their actions, and they will recognize that I have been truly with them. And do you write for yourself all these words which I declare unto you this day, for I know their rebellion and their stiff neck, before I bring them into the land of which I swore to their fathers, to Abraham, and to Yitzchak, and to Yaakov, saying, Unto your seed will I give a land flowing with milk and honey. And they will eat and be satisfied, and they will turn to strange Elohim, to Elohim which cannot deliver them from aught of their tribulation. And this witness shall be heard for a witness against them. For they will forget all my commandments, even all that I command them. And they will walk after other nations, and after their uncleanness, and after their shame, and will serve their Elohim. And these will prove unto them an offense, and a tribulation, and an affliction, and a snare. And many will perish, and they will be taken captive, and will fall into the hands of the enemy, because they have forsaken my ordinances, and my commandments, and the feasts of my covenant, and my Shabbatot, and my holy place, which I have sanctified for myself in their midst, and my tabernacle, and my sanctuary, which I have sanctified for myself in the midst of the land, that I should set my name upon it, and that it should dwell there. And they will make to themselves high places and Asherah poles and graven images, and they will worship each his own graven image, so as to go astray. And they will sacrifice their children to devils, and to all the works of the error of their hearts. And I will send witnesses unto them, that I may witness against them. But they will not hear, and will slay the witnesses also. And they will persecute those who seek the Torah, and they will abrogate and change everything so as to work evil before my eyes. And I will hide my face from them, and I will deliver them into the hand of the other nations for captivity, and for a prey, and for devouring, and I will remove them from the midst of the land, and I will scatter them amongst the other nations, and they will forget all my Torah, and all my commandments, and all my judgments, and will go astray as to new moons, and Shabbatot, and feasts, and jubilees, and ordinances. And after this they will turn to me from amongst the other nations with all their heart, and with all their soul, and with all their strength. And I will gather them from amongst all the other nations, and they will seek me, so that I shall be found of them, when they seek me with all their heart and with all their soul. And I will disclose to them abounding peace with righteousness. And I will remove them the plant of uprightness with all my heart and with all my soul, and they shall be for a blessing and not for a curse. And they shall be the head and not the tail. And I will build my sanctuary in their midst, and I will tabernacle with them, and I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people in truth and righteousness. And I will not forsake them, nor fail them, for I am Yahuwah Elohim. And Moshe fell on his face and prayed and said, O Yahuwah Elohai, do not forsake your people and your inheritance, so that they should wander in the error of their hearts, and do not deliver them into the hands of their enemies, the other nations, lest they should rule over them and cause them to sin against you. Let your mercy, O Yahuwah, be lifted up upon your people, and create in them an upright ruach, and let not the ruach of Belial rule over them, to accuse them before you, and to ensnare them from all the cycles of righteousness, so that they may perish from before your face. But they are your people and your inheritance, which you have delivered with your great power from the hands of the Mitzrayim. Create in them a clean heart and a Ruach HaKodesh, and let them not be ensnared in their sins from henceforth until eternity. And Yahuwah said unto Moshe, I know their contrariness and their thoughts and their stiff-neckedness, and they will not be obedient till they confess their own sin and the sin of their fathers. And after this they will turn to me in all uprightness, and with all their heart and with all their soul, and I will circumcise the foreskin of their heart and the foreskin of the heart of their seed, and I will create in them a Ruach HaKodesh, and I will cleanse them so that they shall not turn away from me from that day unto eternity. And their souls will cleave to me and to all my commandments, and they will fulfill my commandments. And I will be their father, and they shall be my children. And they all shall be called children of the living Elohim. And every angel and every Ruach shall know, yea, they shall know that these are my children, and that I am their father in uprightness and righteousness, and that I love them. And do you write down for yourself all these words which I declare unto you on this mountain, the first and the last, which shall come to pass in all the divisions of the days in the Torah, and in the testimony, and in the weeks and the jubilees, unto eternity, until I descend and tabernacle with them throughout eternity. And he said to the angel of the presence, write for Moshe from the beginning of creation till my sanctuary has been built among them for all eternity. And Yahuwah will appear to the eyes of all, and all shall know that I am the Elohim of Yashara'el, and the father of all the children of Yaakov, and king on Mount Sion for all eternity. And Sion and Yerushalayim shall be holy. And the angel of the presence, who went before the camp of Yashara'el, took the tables of the divisions of the years from the time of the creation of the Torah, and of the testimony of the weeks, of the jubilees, according to the individual years, according to all the number of the jubilees, according to the individual years, from the day of the new creation, when the heavens and the earth shall be renewed, and all their creation according to the powers of the heaven, and according to all the creation of the earth, until the sanctuary of Yahuwah shall be made in Yerushalayim on Mount Sion, and all the luminaries be renewed for healing and for peace and for blessing for all the elect of Yashara'el, and that thus it may be from that day and unto all the days
of the earth. Hallelujah.
Yohelim Jubilees 2. And the angel of the presence spoke to Moshe according to the word of Yahuwah, saying, write the complete history of the creation, how in 6 days Yahuwah Elohim finished all his works and all that he created, and kept Shabbat on the 7th day, and sanctified it for all ages, and appointed it as a sign for all his works. For on the 1st day he created the heavens which are above, and the earth and the waters, and all the Ruach which serve before him, the angels of the presence, and the angels of sanctification, and the angels of the Ruach of fire, and the angels of the Ruach of the winds, and the angels of the Ruach of the clouds, and of darkness, and of snow, and of hail, and of hoarfrost, and the angels of the voices, and of the thunder, and of the lightning, and the angels of the Ruach of cold and of heat, and of winter, and of spring, and of autumn, and of summer, and of all the Ruach of his creatures which are in the heavens and on the earth. He created the abysses and the darkness, even and night, rather evening and night, and the light, and rather dawn and day, which he has prepared in the knowledge of his heart. And thereupon we saw his works, and praised him, and lauded before him on account of all his works. For 7 great works did he create on the 1st day. And on the 2nd day he created the firmament in the midst of the waters. And the waters were divided on that day. Half of them went up above, and half of them went down below the firmament that was in the midst over the face of the whole earth. And this was the only work Elohim created on the second day. And on the third day he commanded the waters to pass from off the face of the whole earth into one place, and the dry land to appear. And the waters did so as he commanded them, and they retired from off the face of the earth into one place outside of this firmament, and the dry land appeared.
Emissary's back. Hit me up when you are free to talk sometime.
All the seas according to their separate gathering places, and all the rivers.
Well, I can't really chat right now while the live stream's going, but I sent you an email.
And all the earth, and all the lakes.
Check your email, okay.
And all the dew of the earth.
Here, we'll check it right here.
Seed which is sown.
We'll check it live stream. Okay. We'll go to email. There's emissary. Listen to this before taking flight. Yahuwah power prayer, as well as regularly, but especially at any transition in your life. Pray this prayer. Trust your brother. Hallelujah. Let's do it right now. I know this prayer. It's a good one.
Upon my name, in spirit and in truth, I say, Shalom, my presence shall go with you, and I will give you rest. In the name of Yahushua, I praise
In the name
and
of
thank you,
Yahushua.
Father, that you have given us the keys to the kingdom of heaven, whereby we have the right to prohibit on earth, and it is prohibited in heaven, and to permit on earth. Through your son Yahushua, I ask you to unite my heart to fear your name, according to Psalm 86:11. In the name of Yahushua, therefore, to your word, Yahuwah, I bind all principalities, powers of the air, wickedness in high places, powers, thrones, dominions, world rulers, and strongmen, exercising influence over me and those I am praying for. And I forbid, prohibit them from operating against those I am praying for, and the one praying this prayer. Who is like you among the mighty ones, O Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah El Shaddai? In the name of your son Yahushua, I bind and prohibit witchcraft control, mind-binding spirits that block.
Shofar time, blow it.
Mind control, destruction, lust, fantasy lust, sarcasm, schizophrenia, paranoia, anger, hatred, wrath and rage, resentment, bitterness, unforgiveness, whoring, unteachableness, deception, doubt and unbelief, passivity, pride, false humility, critical spirit, adultery, complaint.
All right, I'll blow this shofar.
Control, judgmentalism. I prohibit every spirit mentioned and any other spirit in the name of
That's the best I can do.
Worldly music, greed, addiction, drugs, alcohol, pride, and compulsive behavior. I bind and prohibit you all in Yahushua's name.
In Yahushua's name.
Your word has declared that we are not of those who shrink back and are destroyed, but of those who believe and are saved. In the name of
Yeah, I'm not going to blow mine anymore. I got to get a real shofar.
world rulers for each spirit here named. I speak confusion to the ranks of the enemy. I declare their assignments against me and those I am praying for are hereby rendered null.
We got to get back to the Sefer Marathon.
Lift up your eyes on high and see who has created these. He who is bringing out their host by number, he calls them all by name, by the greatness of his might. strength of his power, not one is missing. Though you rise high as the eagle, and though you set your nest among the stars, from there I shall bring you down, declares Yahuwah. In the name of Yahushua, I bind all evil affecting the senses of sight, smell, taste, touch, hearing, all evil against the emotions, and all evil against the 7 points of the body used by witchcraft, base of spine, spleen, navel, heart, throat, between the eyes and top of the head. I bind all evil on the systems of the body, reproductive, skeletal, muscular, digestive, excretory, endocrine, respiratory, circulatory, and nervous systems. In the name of Yahushua. You are my bride, and I am your husband, and I say, and I shall give you the keys of the reign of the heavens, and whatever you bind on earth shall be having been bound in the heavens, and whatever you loosen on earth shall be having been loosened in the heavens. In the name of Yahushua, I bind, forbid, and renounce any transference of evil spirits in family, friends, or associates from them to every person named in this prayer, including myself. With the sword of the Spirit, I sever all evil soul ties between these persons and everyone named, including myself. I declare that the blood of Yahushua Messiah covers, protects, and seals me and every person named in every area of our mind, emotions, and will, and our physical body, preventing these evil soul ties from ever being re-established again. Truly, I say to you, whatever you bind on earth shall be having been bound in heaven, and whatever you loosen on earth shall be having been loosened in heaven. In the name of Yahushua, every evil spirit named in this prayer and those not named are henceforth bound off and away from me and every person named in this prayer. This prayer is also in effect and powerfully effective for me and for every person named in this prayer and for every person we have contact with. Spirits from the netherworld, spirits between, over, and around those praying and those prayed for, and all familiar spirits are completely and irrevocably bound and forbidden from manifesting against me or those I am praying for. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. I bind and forbid the power of all curses spoken and all rituals or sacrifices performed, all divination, spells, incantations or evil meditations, and all sorcery or magic in my life or the lives of those I am praying for. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. For there is no sorcery against Jacob, nor is there any divination against Israel. In the name of Yahushua, I loose and commit the spirit of Yahuwah, Elohim, his Ruach HaKodesh, his set-apart spirit, the spirit of wisdom, understanding, counsel, might, knowledge, and the fear of Yahuwah. I loose and permit spirits of love, mercy, grace, and shalom upon and into me and all those I am praying for. The spirit of Yahuwah shall rest upon him, the spirit of wisdom and understanding, the spirit of counsel and might, the spirit of knowledge and of the fear of Yahuwah. Yahushua, I take up and place shields of belief in Yahuwah over my mind, my heart, and over the minds and hearts of every person I am praying for to protect against infiltration from end-time deception and New World Order mind control. Above all, having taken up the shield of belief, with which you shall have power to quench all the burning arrows of the wicked one. Amen. In the name of Yahushua. Yahushua, because the Spirit of Yahuwah, Yahushua dwells in us, we declare that you are of Elohim, little children, and have overcome them, because he who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. From your set-apart places, the Ale of Israel is he who gives strength and power to his people. Blessed Barak be Elohim. Blessed Barak be Yahuwah. In the name of Yahushua the Messiah, so be it. It is done. Amen. Shalom. Peace to you.
In the name of Yahushua. Okay, back to our marathon. We're back to our marathon. We're on the Sefer Yovalim, Jubilees. I don't remember where, so we'll have to start right about here.
Yovalim, Jubilees 11.
Jubilees, oh, Jubilee.
Jubilee, in the third week, in the first year thereof, Reu took to himself a woman, and her name was Orah, the daughter of Ur, the son of Kesed.
Barak Yahuwah B'Shem Yahusha. In Elohim, Amen.
Sorah, in the 7th year of this week, in this Jubilee. And the sons of Noach began to war on each other,
Sefer
to take
marathon,
and to slay each other, and to shed the blood of men on the earth, and to eat blood, and to build strong cities and walls and towers. And individuals began to exalt themselves above the nation, and to found the beginnings of kingdoms, and to go to war, people against people, and nation against nation, and city against city. And all began to do evil, and to acquire arms, and to teach their sons war. And they began to capture cities, and to sell male and female slaves. And Ur, the son of Kesed, built the city of Ara of the Kasdim, and called its name after his own name and the name of his father. And they made for themselves molten images, and they worshipped each the idol, the molten image which they had made for themselves. And they began to make graven images and unclean simulacra and malignant ruach assisted and seduced them into committing transgression and uncleanness. And the prince of Mastema exerted himself to do all this. And he sent forth other ruach, those which were put under his hand, to do all manner of wrong and sin, and all manner of transgression, to corrupt and destroy and to shed blood upon the earth. For this reason he called the name of Sorah, Sarug, for everyone turned to do all manner of sin and transgression. And he grew up and dwelt in Ur of the Kasdim, near to the father of his woman's mother. And he worshipped idols, and he took to himself a woman in the 36th Jubilee, in the 5th week, in the 1st year thereof. And her name was Melka, the daughter of Keber, the daughter of his father's brother. And she bore him Nachor in the 1st year of this week. And he grew and dwelt in Ur of the Kasdim. And his father taught him the researches of the Kasdim to divine and augur according to the signs of heaven. And in the 37th Jubilee, in the 6th week, in the 1st year thereof, he took to himself a woman, and her name was HalleluYAH, the daughter of Nestag of the Kasdim. And she bore him Tarak in the 7th year of this week. And the prince Mastema sent ravens and birds to devour the seed which was sown in the land, in order to destroy the land, and rob the children of men of their labors. Before they could plow in the seed, the ravens picked it from the surface of the ground. And for this reason he called his name Tarak, because the ravens and the birds reduced them to destitution and devoured their seed. And the years began to be barren, owing to the birds. And they devoured all the fruit of the trees from the trees. It was only with great effort that they could save a little of all the fruit of the earth in their days. And in this 39th Jubilee, in the 2nd week, in the 1st year, Terach took to himself a woman, and her name was Edna, the daughter of Avram, the daughter of his father's sister. And in the 7th year of this week, she bore him a son, and he called his name Avram, by the name of the father of his mother, for he had died before his daughter had conceived a son. And the child began to understand the errors of the earth, that all went astray after graven images and after uncleanness. And his father taught him writing, and he was 2 weeks of years old. And he separated himself from his father, that he might not worship idols with him. And he began to pray to the Creator of all things, that he might save him from the errors of the children of men, and that his portion should not fall into error after uncleanness and vileness. And the seed time came for the sowing of seed upon the land. And they all went forth together to protect their seed against the ravens. And Avram went forth with those that went. And the child was a lad of 14 years. And a cloud of ravens came to devour the seed. And Avram ran to meet them before they settled on the ground, and cried to them before they settled on the ground to devour the seed. And he said, "Descend not, return to the place whence ye came." And they proceeded to turn back. And he caused the clouds of ravens to turn back that day 70 times. And of all the ravens throughout all the land where Avram was there settled, there not so much as one. And all who were with him throughout all the land saw him cry out. And all the ravens turned back, and his name became great in all the land of the Kasdim. And there came to him this year all those that wished to sow, and he went with them until the time of sowing ceased. And they sowed their land, and that year they brought enough grain home and eat, and were satisfied. And in the 1st year of the 5th week, Avram taught those who made implements for oxen, the artificers in wood, and they made a vessel above the ground, facing the frame of the plow, in order to put the seed thereon. And the seed fell down therefrom upon the share of the plow, and was hidden in the earth. And they no longer feared the ravens. And after this manner they made vessels above the ground on all the frames of the plows. And they sowed and tilled all the land, according as Avram commanded them. And they no longer feared the birds. Yovalim, Jubilees 12. And it came to pass in the 6th week, in the 7th year thereof, that Avram said to Tarak, his father, saying, Father. And he said, Behold, here am I, my son. And he said, What help and profit have we from those idols which you do worship, and before which you do bow yourself? For there is no ruach in them, for they are dumb forms and a misleading of the heart. Worship them not. Worship the Elohim of heaven, who causes the rain and the dew to descend on the earth, and does everything upon the earth, and has created everything by his word, and all life is from before his face. Why do ye worship things that have no ruach in them? For they are the work of men's hands, and on your shoulders do ye bear them, and ye have no help from them, but they are a great cause of shame to those who make them, and a misleading of the heart to those who worship them. Worship them not. And his father said unto him, I also know it, my son, but what shall I do with a people who have made me to serve before them? And if I tell them the truth, they will slay me, for their soul cleaves to them to worship them and honor them. Keep silent, my son, lest they slay you. And these words he spoke to his two brothers, and they were angry with him, and he kept silent. And in the 40th Jubilee, in the 2nd week, in the 7th year thereof, Avram took to himself a woman, and her name was Sarai, the daughter of his father, and she became his woman. And Haran, his brother, took to himself a woman in the 3rd year of the 3rd week, and she bore him a son in the 7th year of this week, and he called his name Lot. And Nahor, his brother, took to himself a woman, and in the 60th year of the life of Avram, that is, in the 4th week, in the 4th year thereof, Avram arose by night and burned the house of the idols. And he burned all that was in the house, and no man knew it. And they arose in the night and sought to save their Elohim from the midst of the fire. And Haran hasted to save them, but the fire flamed over him, and he was burnt in the fire. And he died in Ur of the Kasdim before Tarak his father, and they buried him in Ur of the Kasdim. And Tarak went forth from Ur of the Kasdim, he and his sons, to go into the land of Lebanon and into the land of Canaan. And he dwelt in the land of Haran, and Avram dwelt with Tarak his father in Haran 2 weeks of years. And in the 6th week, in the 5th year thereof, Avram sat up throughout the night on the new moon of the 7th month, to observe the stars from the evening to the morning, in order to see what would be the character of the year with regard to the rains. And he was alone as he sat and observed. And the word came into his heart, and he said, all the signs of the stars and the signs of the moon and of the sun are all in the hand of Yahuwah. Why do I search them out? If he desires, he causes it to rain, morning and evening. And if he desires, he withholds it, and all things are in his hand. And he prayed that night and said, My Elohim, El Elyon, you alone are my Elohim, and you and your dominion have I chosen. And you have created all things, and all things that are the work of your hands. Deliver me from the hands of evil Ruachat, who have dominion over the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from you, my Elohim. and establish me and my seed forever, that we go not astray from henceforth and forevermore. And he said, Shall I return unto Ur of the Chaldean, who seek my face, that I may return to them? Am I to remain here in this place? The right path before you, prosper it in the hands of your servant, that he may fulfill it, and that I may not walk in the deceitfulness of my heart, O my Elohim. And he made an end of speaking and praying, and behold, the word of Yahuwah was sent to him through me, saying, Get you up from your country, and from your kindred, and from the house of your father, unto a land which I will show you, and I shall make you a great and numerous nation. And I will bless you, and I will make your name great, and you shall be blessed in the earth, and in you shall all families of the earth be blessed. And I will bless them that bless you, and curse them that curse you. And I will be an Elohim to you and your son, and to your son's son, and to all your seed. Fear not. From henceforth and unto all generations of the earth, I am your Elohim. And Yahuwah Elohim said, Open his mouth and his ears, that he may hear and speak with his mouth, with the language which has been revealed. For it had ceased from the mouths of all the children of men from the day of the overthrow of Babel. And I opened his mouth, and his ears, and his lips. And I began to speak with him in Ivrit, in the tongue of the creation. And he took the seraphim of his fathers, and these were written in Ivrit, and he transcribed them, and he began from henceforth to study them. And I made known to him that which he could not understand. And he studied them during the 6 rainy months. And it came to pass in the 7th year of the 6th week that he spoke to his father and informed him that he would leave Haran to go into the land of Canaan to see it and return to him. And Tarak, his father, said unto him, Go in peace. May the eternal Elohim make your path straight. And Yahuwah be with you, and protect you from all evil, and grant unto you grace, mercy, and favor before those who see you. And may none of the children of men have power over you to harm you. Go in peace. And if you see a land pleasant to your eyes to dwell in, then arise and take me to you, and take Lot with you, the son of Haran, your brother, as your own son. Yahuwah be with you. And Nachor, your brother, leave with me till you return in peace, and we go with you all together. Lebanim, Jubilees 13. And Avram journeyed from Haran, and he took Sarai his woman, and Lot, his brother Haran's son, to the land of Canaan. And he came into Ashur, and proceeded to Shechem, and dwelt near a lofty oak. And he saw, and behold, the land was very pleasant, from the entering of Chamat to the lofty oak. And Yahuwah said to him, To you and to your seed will I give this land. And he built an altar there, and he offered thereon a burnt sacrifice to Yahuwah, who had appeared to him. And he removed from thence unto the mountain Bethel on the west, and Ai on the east, and pitched his tent there. And he saw, and behold, the land was very wide and good, and everything grew thereon, vines and figs and pomegranates, oaks and ilexes and terebinths, and oil trees, and cedars, and cypresses, and date trees, and all trees of the field, and there was water on the mountains. And he blessed Yahuwah, who had led him out of Ur of the Kasdim, and had brought him to this land. And it came to pass in the first year, in the 7th week, on the new moon of the 1st month, that he built an altar on this mountain, and called on the name of Yahuwah. You, the eternal Elohim, are my Elohim. And he offered on the altar a burnt sacrifice unto Yahuwah, that he should be with him and not forsake him all the days of his life. And he removed from thence and went towards the Negev. And he came to Chevron, and Chevron was built at that time, and he dwelt there 2 years. And he went thence into the land of the Negev, to Baalath, and there was a famine in the land. And Avram went into Mitzrayim in the 3rd year of the week, and he dwelt in Mitzrayim 5 years before his woman was torn away from him. Now Tanais in Mitzrayim was at that time built 7 years after Chevron. And it came to pass when Pharaoh seized Sarai, the woman of Avram, that Yahuwah plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Avram's woman. And Avram was very glorious by reason of possessions in sheep and cattle and asses and horses and camels and men servants and maid servants, and in silver and gold exceedingly. And Lot also, his brother's son, was wealthy. And Pharaoh gave back Sarai, the woman of Avram, and he sent him out of the land of Mitzrayim. And he journeyed to the place where he had pitched his tent at the beginning, to the place of the altar, with Ai on the east, and Beit El on the west. And he blessed Yahuwah Eloheinu, who had brought him back in peace. And it came to pass in the 41st Jubilee, in the 3rd year of the 1st week, that he returned to this place, and offered thereon a burnt sacrifice, and called on the name of Yahuwah, and said, You, El Elyon, are my Elohim, forever and ever. And in the 4th year of this week, Lot parted from him. And Lot dwelt in Chedam, and the men of Chedam were sinners exceedingly. And it grieved him in his heart that his brother's son had parted from him, for he had no children. In that year when Lot was taken captive, Yahuwah said unto Avram, after that Lot had parted from him, in the 4th year of this week, Lift up your eyes from the place where you are dwelling, northward and southward, and westward and eastward. For all the land which you see I will give to you and to your seed forever. And I will make your seed as the sand of the sea. Though a man may number the dust of the earth, yet your seed shall not be numbered. Arise, walk through the land in the length of it and the breadth of it, and see it all, for to your seed will I give it. And Avram went to Chevron and dwelt there. And in this year came Kedolah Omer, king of Elam, and Amraphel, king of Shinar, and Arioch, king of Elakar, and Tidal, king of nations, and slew the king of Amorah. And the king of Chedam fled, and many fell through wounds in the valley of Siddim by the salt sea. And they took captive Chedam and Adam and Sevoim, and they took captive Lot also, the son of Avram's brother, and all his possessions, and they went to Dan. And one who had escaped came and told Avram that his brother's son had been taken captive, and Avram armed his household servants. For Avram and for his seed, 1/10 of the firstfruits to Yahuwah, and Yahuwah ordained it as an ordinance forever, that they should give it to the priests who served before him, that they should possess it forever. And to this Torah there is no limit of days, for he has ordained it for the generations forever, that they should give to Yahuwah the 10th of everything, of the seed, and of the wine, and of the oil, and of the cattle, and of the sheep. And he gave it unto his priests to eat and to drink with joy before him. And the king of Chedam came to him and bowed himself before him and said, Our Lord Avram, give unto us the souls which you have rescued, but let the booty be yours. And Avram said unto him, I lift up my hands to El Elyon, that from a thread to a shoe latchet I shall not take anything that is yours, lest you should say, I have made Avram rich, save only what the young men have eaten, and the portion of the men who went with me, Aner, Eshkol, and Mamre. These shall take their portion. Yovelim, Jubilees 14. After these things, in the 4th year of this week, on the new moon of the 3rd month, the word of Yahuwah came to Avram in a dream, saying, Fear not, Avram, I am your defender, and your reward will be exceeding great. And he said, Yahuwah, Yahuwah, what will you give me, seeing I go hence childless? And the son of Masek, the son of my handmaid, is the Damascan Eliezer. He will be my heir, and to me you have given no seed. And he said unto him, This man will not be your heir, but one that will come out of your own generation. He will be your heir. And he brought him forth abroad and said unto him, Look toward heaven and number the stars, if you are able to number them. And he looked toward heaven and beheld the stars. And he said unto him, So shall your seed be. And he believed in Yahuwah, and it was counted to him for righteousness. And he said unto him, I am Yahuwah, that brought you out of Ur of the Kasdim, to give you the land of Canaan, to possess it forever. And I will be Elohim unto you, and to your seed after you. And he said, Yahuwah, Yahuwah, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? And he said unto him, Take me a heifer of 3 years, and a goat of 3 years, and a sheep of 3 years, and a turtle dove, and a pigeon. And he took all these in the middle of the month, and he dwelt at the oak of Mamre, which is near Hebron. And he built there an altar, and sacrificed all these. And he poured their blood upon the altar, and divided them in the midst, and laid them over against each other. But the birds divided he not. And birds came down upon the pieces, and Avram drove them away, and did not suffer the birds to touch them. And it came to pass, when the sun had set, that an ecstasy fell upon Avram. And lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. And it was said unto Avram, Know of a surety that your seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs. And they shall bring them into bondage, and afflict them 400 years. And the nation also, to whom they will be in bondage, will I judge. And after that they shall come forth thence with much substance. And you shall go to your fathers in peace, and be buried in a good old age. But in the 4th generation they shall return hither, for the iniquity of the Amorim is not yet full. And he awoke from his sleep, and he arose, and the sun had set, and there was a flame, and behold, a furnace was smoking, and a flame of fire passed between the pieces. And on that day Yahuwah cut a covenant with Avram, saying, To your seed will I give this land, from the river of Mitzrayim unto the great river, the river Parat. The Canaim, the Kenazim, the Kadmonim, the Perazim, and the Rapharim, the Pakorim, and the Chavim, and the Amorim, and the Canaim, and the Gergashim, and the Yevusim. And the day passed, and Avram offered the pieces and the birds, and their fruit offerings and their drink offerings, and the fire devoured them. And on that day we cut a covenant with Avram, according as we had covenanted with Noach in this month. And Avram renewed the feast and ordinance for himself forever. And Avram rejoiced, and made all these things known to Sarai his woman. And he believed that he would have seed, but she did not bear. And Sarai advised her man Avram, and said unto him, Go in unto Hagar, my Mitzri maid. It may be that I shall build up seed unto you by her. And Avram hearkened unto the voice of Sarai his woman, and said unto her, Do so. And Sarai took Hagar, her maid, the Mitzri, and gave her to Avram, her man, to be his woman. And he went in unto her, and she conceived and bore him a son. And he called his name Yishmael, in the 5th year of this week. And this was the 86th year in the life of Avram. Yovalim, Jubilees 15. And in the 5th year of the 4th week of this Jubilee, in the 3rd month, in the middle of the month, Avram celebrated the feast of the first fruits of the grain harvest, and he offered new offerings on the altar. the first fruits of the produce unto Yahuwah, a heifer and a goat and a sheep on the altar as a burnt sacrifice unto Yahuwah, their fruit offerings and their drink offerings. He offered upon the altar with frankincense. And Yahuwah appeared to Avram and said unto him, I am El Shaddai, walk before me and be perfect. And I will make my covenant between me and you, and I will multiply you exceedingly. And Avram fell on his face, and Elohim talked with him and said, Behold, my ordinance is with you, and you shall be the father of many nations. Neither shall your name any more be called Avram, but your name from henceforth, even forever, shall be Avraham. For the father of many nations have I made you, and I will make you very great, and I will make you into nations, and kings shall come forth from you. And I shall establish my covenant between me and you and your seed after you throughout your generations for an eternal covenant, so that I may be an Elohim unto you and to your seed after you, and unto the land where you have been a sojourner, the land of Canaan, that you may possess it forever, and I will be their Elohim. And Yahuwah said unto Abraham, And as for you, do you guard my covenant, you and your seed after you, and circumcise ye every male among you, and circumcise your foreskins, and it shall be a sign of an eternal covenant between me and you. And the child on the 8th day ye shall circumcise, every male throughout your generations, he that is born in the house, or whom ye have bought with money from any stranger, whom ye have acquired who is not of your seed. He that is born in your house shall surely be circumcised, and those whom you have bought with money shall be circumcised. And my covenant shall be in your flesh for an eternal ordinance. And the uncircumcised male who is not circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin on the 8th day, that soul shall be cut off from his people, for he has broken my covenant. And Elohim said unto Abraham, As for Sarai, your woman, her name shall no more be called Sarai, but Sarah shall be her name. And I will bless her, and give you a son by her, and I will bless him, and he shall become a nation, and kings of nations shall proceed from him. And Abraham fell on his face and rejoiced, and said in his heart, Shall a son be born to him that is 100 years old, and shall Sarah, who is 90 years old, bring forth? And Abraham said unto Elohim, Oh, that Ishmael might live before you. And Elohim said, Yea, and Sarah also shall bear you a son. You shall call his name Yitzchak, and I will establish my covenant with him, an everlasting covenant, and for his seed after him. And as for Ishmael, also have I heard you, and behold, I will bless him, and make him great, and multiply him exceedingly. And he shall beget 12 princes, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will I establish with Yitzchak, whom Sarah shall bear to you in these days, in the next year. And he left off speaking with him, and Elohim went up from Abraham. And Abraham did according as Elohim had said unto him. And he took Ishmael his son, and all that were born in his house, and whom he had bought with his money, every male in his house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin. And on the selfsame day was Abraham circumcised, and all the men of his house, and all those whom he had bought with money from the children of the stranger were circumcised with him. This Torah is for all the generations forever, and there is no circumcision of the days, and no omission of one day out of the 8 days, for it is an eternal ordinance, ordained and written on the heavenly tablets. And everyone that is born, the flesh of whose foreskin is not circumcised on the 8th day, belongs not to the children of the covenant which Yahuwah made with Abraham, but to the children of destruction. Nor is there, moreover, any sign on him that he is Yahuwah's, but he is destined to be destroyed, and shall slain from the earth, and slain from the earth, and to be rooted out of the earth. For he has broken the covenant of Yahuwah Eloheinu. For all the angels of the presence and all the angels of sanctification have been so created from the day of their creation, and before the angels of the presence and the angels of sanctification he has sanctified Yashara'el, that they should be with him and with his holy angels. And do you command the children of Yashara'el, let them observe the sign of this covenant for their generations as an eternal ordinance, and they will not be rooted out of the land. For the command is ordained for a covenant, that they should observe it forever among all the children of Yashara'el. For Ishmael and his sons and his brothers and Esau, Yahuwah did not cause to approach him, and he chose them not because they are children of Abraham, because he knew them. But he chose Yashara'el to be his people, and he sanctified it, and gathered it from amongst all the children of men. For there are many nations and many peoples, and all are his. And over all has he placed Ruchat, in authority, to lead them astray from him. But over Yashara'el he did not appoint any angel or Ruach, for he alone is their ruler. And he will guard them and require them at the hand of his angels and his Ruachat, and at the hand of all his powers, in order that he may guard them and bless them, and that they may be his, and he may be theirs, from henceforth forever. And now I announce unto you that the children of Yashara'el will not guard true to this ordinance, and they will not circumcise their sons according to all this Torah. For in the flesh of their circumcision they will omit this circumcision of their sons, and all of them, sons of Belial, will leave their sons uncircumcised as they were born. And there will be great wrath from Yahuwah against the children of Yashara'el, because they have forsaken his covenant and turned aside from his word, and provoked, and blasphemed, inasmuch as they do not observe the ordinance of this Torah, for they have treated their members like the other nations, so that they may be removed and rooted out of the land. And there will no more be pardon or forgiveness unto them, so that there should be forgiveness and pardon for all the sin of this eternal error. Yovalim, Jubilees 16. And on the new moon of the 4th month, we appeared unto Abraham at the oak of Mamre, and we talked with him. And we announced to him that a son would be given to him by Sarah, his woman. And Sarah laughed, for she heard that we had spoken these words with Abraham. And we admonished her, and she became afraid. and denied that she had laughed on account of the words. And we told her the name of her son, as his name is ordained and written in the heavenly tablets, that is Yitzhak. And that when we returned to her at a set time, she would have conceived a son. And in this month, Yahuwah executed his judgments on Chedam and Morah and Serioim and all the region of the Yarden. And he burned them with fire and brimstone and destroyed them until this day. Even as, lo, I have declared unto you all their works, that they are wicked and sinners exceedingly, and that they defile themselves and commit fornication in their flesh, and work uncleanness on the earth. And in like manner, Elohim will execute judgment on the places where they have done according to the uncleanness of the Sodomim, like unto the judgment of Chedam. But Lot we saved, for Elohim remembered Abraham and sent him out from the midst of the overthrow. And he and his daughters committed sin upon the earth, such as has not been on the earth since the days of Adam till his time. For the man lay with his daughters. And behold, it was commanded and engraven concerning all his seed on the heavenly tablets, to remove them and root them out, and to execute judgment upon them, like the judgment of Sedam, and to leave no seed of the man on earth on the day of condemnation. And in this month, Abraham moved from Hebron and departed and dwelt between Kadesh and Shur in the mountains of Gerar. And in the middle of the 5th month, he moved from thence and dwelt at the well of the oath. And in the middle of the 6th month, Yahuwah visited Sarah and did unto her as he had spoken, and she conceived. And she bore a son in the 3rd month, and in the middle of the month, at the time of which Yahuwah had spoken to Abraham, on the feast of the first fruits of the harvest, Yitzhak was born. And Abraham circumcised his son on the 8th day. He was the first that was circumcised, according to the covenant which is ordained forever. And in the 6th year of the 4th week, we came to Abraham, to the well of the oath. We appeared unto him as we had told Sarah, that we should return to her, and she would have conceived a son. And we returned in the 7th month, and found Sarah with child before us, and we blessed him, and we announced to him all the things which had been decreed concerning him, that he should not die till he should beget 6 sons more, and should see them before he died. But that in Yitzhak should his name and seed be called, and that all the seed of his sons should be the other nations, and be reckoned with the other nations. But from the sons of Yitzhak, one should become a holy seed, and should not be reckoned among the other nations. For he should become the portion of HalleluYAH. And all his seed had fallen into the possession of Elohim, that it should be unto Yahuwah a people for his possession above all nations, and that it should be a kingdom and priests and a holy nation. And we went our way, and we announced to Sarah all that we had told him. And they both rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And he built there an altar to Yahuwah, who had delivered him, and who was making him rejoice in the land of his sojourning. And he celebrated a feast of joy in this month, 7 days, near the altar, which he had built at the well of the oath. And he built Kukot for himself and for his servants on this feast. And he was the first to celebrate the feast of Kukot on the earth. And during these 7 days, he brought each day to the altar a burnt offering to Yahuwah, 2 oxen, 2 rams, 7 sheep, 1 he-goat for a sin offering, that he might atone thereby for himself and for his seed. And as a thank offering, 7 rams, 7 kids, 7 sheep, and 7 he-goats, and their fruit offerings, and their drink offerings. And he burnt all the fat thereof on the altar, a chosen offering unto Yahuwah for a sweet-smelling savor. And morning and evening he burnt fragrant substances, frankincense and galbanum and stacte and nard and myrrh and spice and custom. All these 7 he offered, crushed, mixed together in equal parts, and pure. And he celebrated this feast during 7 days, rejoicing with all his heart and with all his soul. He and all those who were in his house, and there was no stranger with him, nor any that was uncircumcised. And he blessed his Creator, who had created him in his generation, for he had created him according to his good pleasure. For he knew and perceived that from him would arise the plant of righteousness for the eternal generations, and from him a holy seed, so that it should become like him who had made all things. And he blessed and rejoiced, and he called the name of this feast and the feast of Yahuwah. He called the name of this feast the feast of Yahuwah, a joy acceptable to El Elyon. El Elyon. And we blessed him forever, and all his seed after him throughout all the generations of the earth, because he celebrated this feast in its season, according to the testimony of the heavenly tablets. For this reason it is ordained on the heavenly tablets concerning Yashara'el, that they shall celebrate the feast of Kukot 7 days with joy in the 7th month, acceptable before Yahuwah, a statute forever throughout their generations, every year. And to this there is no limit of days, for it is ordained forever regarding Yashara'el, that they should celebrate it and dwell in Kukot, and set wreaths upon their heads, and take leafy boughs and willows from the brook. And Abraham took branches of palm trees and the fruit of goodly trees, and every day going round the altar with the branches 7 times a day in the morning, he praised and gave thanks to his Elohim for all things in joy. Yovelim, Jubilees 17. And in the 1st year of the 5th week, Yitzchak was weaned in this Jubilee. And Abraham made a great banquet in the 3rd month, on the day his son Yitzchak was weaned. And Yishmael, the son of Hagar, the Mitzri, was before the face of Abraham, his father, in his place. And Abraham rejoiced and blessed Elohim, because he had seen his sons and had not died childless. And he remembered the words which he had spoken to him on the day on which Lot had parted from him. And he rejoiced because Yahuwah had given him seed upon the earth to inherit the earth. And he blessed with all his mouth the Creator of all things. And Sarah saw Ishmael playing and dancing, and Abraham rejoicing with great joy. And she became jealous of Ishmael and said to Abraham, "Cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman will not be heir with my son Yitzchak." And the thing was grievous in Abraham's sight because of his maidservant, and because of his son, that he should drive them from him. And Elohim said to Abraham, "Let it not be grievous in your sight, rather grievous in your sight, because of the child and because of the bondwoman. In all that Sarah has said unto you, hearken to her words, and do them. For in Yitzchak shall your name and seed be called. But as for the son of this bondwoman, I will make him a great nation, because he is of your seed." And Abraham rose up early in the morning and took bread and a bottle of water and placed them on the shoulders of Hagar and the child and sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Be'er Sheva, and the water in the bottle was spent. And the child thirsted and was not able to go on and fell down. And his mother took him and cast him under an olive tree and went and sat her down over against him at the distance of a bow shot. For she said, "Let me not see the death of my child." And as she sat, she wept. And an angel of Elohim, one of the holy ones, said unto her, "Why weep you, Hagar? Arise, take the child and hold him in your hand, for Elohim has heard your voice and has seen the child." And she opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. And she went and filled her bottle with water, and she gave her child to drink. And she arose and went towards the wilderness of Paran. And the child grew and became an archer, and Elohim was with him. And his mother took him a woman from among the daughters of the Mitzrayim, and she bore him a son, and he called his name Nebayot, for she said, "Yahuwah was nigh to me when I called upon him." And it came to pass in the 7th week, in the 1st year thereof, in the 1st month of this Jubilee, on the 12th of this month, there were voices in heaven regarding Abraham, that he was faithful in all that he told him, and that he loved Yahuwah, and that in every affliction he was faithful. And the prince Mastamah came and said before Elohim, "Behold, Abraham loves Yitzchak his son, and he delights in him above all things else. Bid him to offer him as a burnt offering on the altar, and you will see if he will do this command, and you will know if he is faithful in everything wherein you do try him." And Yahuwah knew that Abraham was faithful in all his afflictions, for he had tried him through his country and with famine, and had tried him with the wealth of kings, and had tried him again through his woman, when she was torn from him, and with circumcision, and had tried him through Ishmael and Hagar, his maidservant, when he sent them away, and in everything wherein he had tried him, he was found faithful, and his soul was not impatient, rather impatient, and he was not slow to act, for he was faithful and a lover of Yahuwah. Yohalim, Jubilees 18. And Elohim said to him, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Behold, here am I. And he said, Take your Yachid, whom you love, even Yitzchak, and go into the high country, and offer him on one of the mountains which I will point out unto you. And he rose early in the morning, and saddled his ass, and took his 2 young men with him, and Yitzchak his son, and clave the wood of the burnt offering, and he went to the place on the 3rd day. And he saw the place afar off. He came to a well of water, and he said to his young men, Abide ye here with the ass, and I and the lad shall go yonder, and when we have worshipped, we shall come again to you. And he took the wood of the burnt offering, and laid it on Yitzchak his son, and he took in his hand the fire and the knife, and they went both of them together to that place. And Yitzchak said to his father, Father, and he said, Here am I, my son. And he said unto him, Behold the fire and the knife and the wood, but where is the sheep for the burnt offering, father? And he said, Elohim will provide himself a sheep for a burnt offering, my son. And he drew near to the place of the mount of Elohim. And he built an altar, and he placed the wood on the altar, and bound Yitzchak his son, and placed him on the wood which was upon the altar, and stretched forth his hand to take the knife to slay Yitzchak his son. And I stood before him, and before the prince, Mastema. And Yahuwah said, Bid him not to lay his hand on the lad, nor to do anything to him, for I have shown that he fears Yahuwah. And I called to him from heaven, and said unto him, Abraham, Abraham. And he was terrified and said, Behold, here am I. And I said unto him, Lay not your hand upon the lad, neither do you anything to him, for now I have shown that you fear Yahuwah, and have not withheld your son, your firstborn son, from me. And the prince Mastema was put to shame. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, a ram caught by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered it for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. And Abraham called that place, Yahuwah has seen, so that it is said, Yahuwah has seen. That is Mount Sion. And Yahuwah called Abraham by his name a second time from heaven, as he caused us to appear to speak to him in the name of Yahuwah. And he said, By myself have I sworn, says Yahuwah, because you have done this thing, and have not withheld your son, your Yachid, from me, that in blessing I will bless you, and in multiplying I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven, and as the sand which is on the seashore. And your seed shall inherit the cities of its enemies, and in your seed shall all nations of the earth be blessed. Because you have obeyed my voice, and I have shown to all that you are faithful unto me in all that I have said unto you. Go in peace. And Abraham went to his young men, and they arose and went together to Be'er Sheba. And Abraham dwelt by the well of the oath, and he celebrated this feast every year, 7 days with joy, and he called it the Feast of Yahuwah, according to the 7 days during which he went and returned in peace. And accordingly has it been ordained and written on the heavenly tablets regarding Yashara'el and his seed, that they should observe this feast 7 days with the joy of feast. Yovelim, Jubilees 19. And in the first year of the first week, in the 42nd Jubilee, Avraham returned and dwelt opposite Hebron, that is Kiryat Arba, 2 weeks of years. And in the first year of the third week of this Jubilee, the days of the life of Sarah were accomplished. And she died in Hebron. And Avraham went to mourn over her and bury her. And we tried him to see if his ruach were patient, and he were not indignant in the words of his mouth. And he was found patient in this, and was not disturbed. For in patience of the ruach he conversed with the children of Chet, to the intent that they should give him a place in which to bury his dead. And Yahuwah gave him grace before all who saw him. And he besought in gentleness the sons of Chet. And they gave him the land of the double cave over against Mamre, that is Kevran, for 400 pieces of silver. And they besought him, saying, "We shall give it to you for nothing." But he would not take it from their hands for nothing, for he gave the price of the place, the money in the full. And he bowed down before them twice. And after this, he buried his dead in the double cave. And all the days of the life of Sarah were 127 years, that is, 2 jubilees and 4 weeks and 1 year. These are the days of the years of the life of Sarah. This is the 10th trial wherewith Avraham was tried, and he was found faithful, patient in the ruach. And he said not a single word regarding the rumor in the land, how that Elohim had said that he would give it to him and to his seed after him. And he begged a place there to bury his dead, for he was found faithful, and was recorded on the heavenly tablets as the friend of Elohim. And in the 4th year thereof, he took a woman for his son Yitzchak, and her name was Rivkah, the daughter of Bethuel, and the son of Nechor, the brother of Avraham, the sister of Laban, and daughter of Bethuel. And Bethuel was the son of Milcah, who was the woman of Nechor, the brother of Avraham. And Avraham took to himself a 3rd woman, and her name was Keturah, from among the daughters of his household servants, for Hagar had died before Sarah. And she bore him 6 sons, Zimram, and Yakshan, and Medan, and Midian, and Yishbak, and Shuach, in the 2 weeks of years. And in the 6th week, in the 2nd year thereof, Rivkah bore to Yitzchak 2 sons, Yaakov and Esau. And Yaakov was a smooth and upright man, and Esau was fierce, a man of the field, and hairy. And Yaakov dwelt in tents. And the youths grew, and Yaakov learned to write, but Esau did not learn, for he was a man of the field and a hunter. And he learned war, and all his deeds were fierce. And Abraham loved Yaakov, but Yitzchak loved Esau. And Abraham saw the deeds of Esau, and he knew that in Yaakov should his name and seed be called. And he called Rivkah, and gave commandment regarding Yaakov. For he knew that she too loved Yaakov much more than Esau. And he said unto her, My daughter, watch over my son Yaakov, for he shall be in my stead on the earth, and for a blessing in the midst of the children of men, and for the glory of the whole seed of Shem. For I know that Yahuwah will choose him to be a people for possession unto himself, above all peoples that are upon the face of the earth. And behold, Yitzchak, my son, loves Esau more than Yaakov, but I see that you truly love Yaakov, and still further to your kindness to him. And let your eyes be upon him in love, for he shall be a blessing unto us on the earth, from henceforth unto all generations of the earth. Let your hands be strong, and let your heart rejoice in your son, Yaakov, for I have loved him far beyond all my sons. He shall be blessed forever, and his seed shall fill the whole earth. If a man can number the sand of the earth, his seed also shall be numbered. And all the blessing wherewith Yahuwah has blessed me and my seed shall belong to Yaakov and his seed always. And in his seed shall my name be blessed, and the name of my fathers, Shem and Noach and Kanach and Mahalel and Enosh and Set and Adam. And these shall serve to lay the foundations of the heaven and to strengthen the earth and to renew all the luminaries which are in the firmament. And he called Yaakov before the eyes of Rivkah, his mother, and kissed him and blessed him and said, Yaakov, my Yakid, whom my soul loves, may Elohim bless you from above the firmament, and may he give you all the blessings wherewith he blessed Adam and Kanok and Noach and Shem, and all the things of which he told me, and all the things which he promised to give me. May he cause to cleave to you and to your seed forever, according to the days of heaven above the earth. And the Ruach Tot of Mastama shall not rule over you or over your seed, to turn you from Yahuwah, who is your Elohim, from henceforth forever. May Yahuwah Elohim be a father to you, and you the firstborn son, and to the people always. Go in peace, my son. And they both went forth together from Abraham. And Rivkah loved Yaakov with all her heart and with all her soul, very much more than Esau. But Yitzchak loved Esau much more than Yaakov. Yohalim Jubilees 20. And in the 42nd Jubilee, in the first year of the 7th week, Abraham called Yishmael and his 12 sons, and Yitzchak and his 2 sons, and the 6 sons of Keturah and their sons. He commanded them that they should observe the way of Yahuwah, that they should work righteousness and love each his neighbor, and act on this manner amongst all men, that they should each so walk with regard to them as to do judgment and righteousness on the earth, that they should circumcise their sons according to the covenant which he had made with them, and not to deviate to the right hand or to the left of all the paths which Yahuwah had commanded us, and that we should guard ourselves from all fornication and uncleanness, and renounce from amongst us all fornication and uncleanness. And if any woman or maid commit fornication against you, burn her with fire. Let them not commit fornication with her after their eyes and their heart. And let them not take to themselves women from the daughters of Canaan. For the seed of Canaan will be rooted out of the land. he told them of the judgment of the Nephilim and the judgment of the Sodomim, how they had been judged on account of their wickedness and had died on account of their fornication and uncleanness and multiple corruption through fornication. And guard yourselves from all fornication and uncleanness, and from all pollution of sin, lest ye make our name a curse, and your whole life a hissing, and all your sons to be destroyed by the sword, and ye become a curse like Kedam, and all your remnant as the sons of Amorah. I implore you, my sons, love the Elohim of heaven, and cleave ye to all his commandments, and walk not after their idols, and after their uncleanness, and make not for yourselves molten or graven Elohim, for they are vanity, and there is no ruach in them, for they are work of men's hands, and all who trust in them trust in nothing. Serve them not, nor worship them, but serve ye El Elyon, and worship him continually, and hope for his countenance always, and work uprightness and righteousness before him, that he may have pleasure in you, and grant you his mercy, and send rain upon you morning and evening, and bless all your works which ye have wrought upon the earth, and bless your bread and your water, and bless the fruit of your womb, and the fruit of your land, and the herds of your cattle, and the flocks of your sheep. And ye will be for a blessing on the earth, and all nations of the earth will desire you, and bless your sons in my name, that they may be blessed as I am. And he gave to Yishmael and to his sons and to the sons of Keturah gifts, and sent them away from Yitzchak his son. And he gave everything to Yitzchak his son. And Yishmael and his sons and the sons of Keturah and their sons went together and dwelt from Paran to entering in of Babel in all the land which is towards the east, facing the desert. And these mingled with each other, and their name was called Aravim and Yishmaelim. Yovalim, Jubilees 21. And in the 6th year of the 7th week of this Jubilee, Abraham called Yitzchak his son and commanded him, saying, I am become old, and know not the day of my death, and am full of my days. And behold, I am 175 years old, and throughout all the days of my life I have remembered Yahuwah, and sought with all my heart to do his will, and to walk uprightly in all his ways. My soul has hated idols, given my heart and ruach, that I might observe to do the will of him who created me. For he is the living Elohim, and he is holy and faithful, and he is righteous beyond all. And there is with him no accepting of men's persons, and no accepting of gifts. For Elohim is righteous, and executes judgment on all those who transgress his commandments, and despise his covenant. And do you, my son, observe his commandments, and his ordinances, and his judgments, and walk not after the abominations, and after graven images, and after the molten images, and eat no blood at all of animals or cattle, or of any bird which flies in the heaven. And if you do slay a victim as an acceptable peace offering, slay ye it, and pour out its blood upon the altar. And all the fat of the offering offer on the altar with fine flour, and the meat offering mingled with oil, with its drink offering, offer them all together on the altar of burnt offering. It is a sweet savor before Yahuwah. And you will offer the fat of the sacrifice of thank offerings on the fire which is upon the altar, and the fat which is on the belly, and all the fat on the inwards and the 2 kidneys, and all the fat that is upon them, and upon the loins and liver you shall remove, together with the kidneys. And offer all these for a sweet savor acceptable before Yahuwah, with its meat offering and with its drink offering for a sweet savor, the bread of the offering unto Yahuwah. And eat its meat on that day and on the second, and let not the sun on the second day go down upon it till it is eaten. And let nothing be left over for the 3rd day, for it is not acceptable, for it is not approved, and let it no longer be eaten. And all who eat thereof will bring sin upon themselves. For thus I have found it written in the Kerothim, rather Seferim of my forefathers. And in the words of Chanak, and in the words of Noach, and on all your oblations you shall strew salt, and let not the salt of the covenant be lacking in all your oblations before Yahuwah. And as regards to the wood of the sacrifices, beware lest you bring other wood for the altar, in addition to these: cypress, bay, almond, fir, pine, cedar, savin, fig, olive, myrrh, laurel, aspalathus. And of these kinds of wood lay upon the altar under the sacrifice, such as have been tested as to their appearance. And do not lay thereon any split or dark wood, but hard and clean, without fault, a sound and new growth. And do not lay thereon old wood, for its fragrance is gone, for there is no longer fragrance in it as before. Besides these kinds of wood, there is none other that you should place on the altar, for the fragrance is dispersed, and the smell of its fragrance goes not up to heaven. Observe this commandment and do it, my son, that you may be upright in all your deeds, and at all times be clean in your body. And wash yourself with water before you approach to offer on the altar, and wash your hands and your feet before you draw near to the altar. And when you are done sacrificing, wash again your hands and your feet. And let no blood appear upon you, nor upon your clothes. Be on your guard, my son, against blood. Be on your guard exceedingly. Cover it with dust. Do not eat any blood, for it is the soul. Eat no blood whatsoever. And take no gifts for the blood of man, lest it should be shed with impunity, without judgment. For it is the blood that is shed that causes the earth to sin. And the earth cannot be cleansed from the blood of man, save by the blood of him who shed it. And take no present or gift for the blood of man, blood for blood, that you may be accepted before Yahuwah El Elyon. For he is the defense of the good, and that you may be preserved from all evil, and that he may save you from every kind of death. I see, my son, that all the works of the children of men are sin and wickedness, and all their deeds are uncleanness and an abomination and a pollution, and there is no righteousness with them. Beware, lest you should walk in their ways and tread in their paths, and sin a sin unto death before El Elyon. Else he will hide his face from you, and give you back into the hands of your transgression, and root you out of the land, and your seed likewise from under heaven, and your name and your seed shall perish from the whole earth. Turn away from all their deeds and all their uncleanness, and observe the ordinance of HalleluYAH. Do his will, and be upright in all things. And he will bless you in all your deeds, and will raise up from you a plant of righteousness through all the earth, throughout all generations of the earth. And my name and your name shall not be forgotten under heaven forever. Go, my son, in peace. May HalleluYAH, my Elohim, and your Elohim strengthen you to do his will, and may he bless all your seed and the remnant of your seed for the generations forever, with all righteous blessings, that ye may be a blessing on all the earth. And he went out from him rejoicing. Yovelim Jubilees 22. And it came to pass in the first week, in the 44th Jubilee, in the second year, that is, the year in which Abraham died, that Yitzchak and Ishmael came from the well of the oath to celebrate the feast of Shavuot, that is, the feast of the first fruits of the harvest, to Abraham, their father. And Abraham rejoiced because his two sons had come. For Yitzchak had many possessions in Be'er Sheva, and Yitzchak was wont to go and see his possessions and to return to his father. And in those days, Ishmael came to see his father, and they both came together. And Yitzchak offered a sacrifice for a burnt offering, and presented it on the altar of his father, which he had made in Hebron. And he offered a thank offering, and made a feast of joy before Ishmael, his brother. And Rivkah made new cakes from the new grain, and gave them to Yaakov, her son, to take them to Abraham, his father, from the first fruits of the land, that he might eat and bless the Creator of all things before he died. And Yitzchak, too, sent by the hand of Yaakov to Abraham a best thank offering, that he might eat and drink. And he ate and drank and blessed HalleluYAH, who has created heaven and earth, who has made all the fat things of the earth, and given them to the children of men, that they might eat and drink and bless their Creator. And now I give thanks unto you, my Elohim, because you have caused me to see this day. Behold, I am 163 years, an old man, and full of days, and all my days have been unto me peace. The sword of the adversary has not overcome me in all that you have given me and my children all the days of my life until this day. My Elohim, may your mercy and your peace be upon your servant and upon the seed of his sons, that they may be to you a chosen nation and an inheritance from amongst all the nations of the earth, from henceforth unto all the days of the generations of the earth, unto all the ages. And he called Yaakov and said, My son Yaakov, may the Elohim of all bless you and strengthen you to do righteousness and his will before him. And may he choose you and your seed, that ye may become a people for his inheritance, according to his will always. And do you, my son Yaakov, draw near and kiss me. And he drew near and kissed him, and he said, Blessed be my son Yaakov, and all the sons of El-Elyon, unto all the ages. May Elohim give unto you a seed of righteousness. And some of your sons may he sanctify in the midst of the whole earth. May nations serve you, and all the nations bow themselves before your seed. Be strong in the presence of men, and exercise authority, over all the seed of Shet. Then your ways and the ways of your sons will be justified, so that they shall become a holy nation. May El-Elyon give you all the blessings wherewith he has blessed me, and wherewith he blessed Noach and Adam. May they rest on the sacred head of your seed, from generation to generation, forever. And may he cleanse you from all unrighteousness and impurity, that you may be forgiven all the transgressions which you have committed ignorantly. And may he strengthen you and bless you. And may you inherit the whole earth. And may he renew his covenant with you, that you may be to him a nation for his inheritance for all the ages, and that he may be to you and to your seed an Elohim in truth and righteousness throughout all the days of the earth. And do you, my son Yaakov, remember my words and observe the commandments of Abraham, your father. Separate yourself from the nations and eat not with them, and do not according to their works, and become not their associate. For their works are unclean, and all their ways are pollution and an abomination and uncleanness. They offer their sacrifices to the dead, and they worship evil Ruachot, and they eat over the graves, and all their works are vanity and nothingness. They have no heart to understand, and their eyes do not see what their works are, and how they err in saying to a piece of wood, You are my Elohim, and to a stone, You are my Adonai, and You are my deliverer. And they have no heart. And as for you, my son Yaakov, may El-Elyon help you, and the Elohim of heaven bless you, and remove you from their uncleanness and from all their error. Be you ware, my son Yaakov, of taking a woman from any seed of the daughters of Canaan, for all his seed is to be rooted out of the earth. For owing to the transgression of Canaan erred, and all his seed shall be destroyed from off the earth, and all the remnant thereof, and none springing from him shall be saved on the day of judgment. And as for all the worshippers of idols and the profane, there shall be no hope for them in the land of the living, and there shall be no remembrance of them on the earth, for they shall descend into Sheol, and into the place of condemnation shall they go, as the children of Chedam were taken away from the earth, so will all those who worship idols be taken away. Fear not, my son Yaakov, and be not dismayed, O son of Abraham. May El Elyon guard you from destruction, and from all the paths of error may he deliver you. This house have I built for myself, that I might put my name upon it in the earth. It is given to you and to your seed forever. And it will be named the house of Abraham. It is given to you and to your seed forever. For you will build my house and establish my name before Elohim forever. Your seed and your name will stand throughout all generations of the earth. And he ceased commanding him and blessing him, and the two lay together on one bed, and Yaakov slept in the bosom of Abraham, his father's father, and he kissed him 7 times, and his affection and his heart rejoiced over him. And he blessed him with all his heart and said, El Elyon, the Elohim of all, and creator of all, who brought me forth from Ur of the Kasdim, that he might give me this land to inherit it forever, and that I might establish a holy seed. Blessed be El Elyon forever. And he blessed Yaakov and said, My son, over whom with all my heart and my affection I rejoice, may your grace and your mercy be lifted up upon him and upon his seed always. And do not forsake him, nor set him at naught from henceforth unto the days of eternity. And may your eyes be opened upon him and upon his seed, that you may guard him and bless him, and may sanctify him as a nation for your inheritance, and bless him with all your blessings from henceforth unto all the days of eternity, and renew your covenant and your grace with him and with his seed, according to all your good pleasure, unto all the generations of the earth. Yovalim, Jubilees 23. And he placed 2 fingers of Yaakov on his eyes, and he blessed the Elohim of Elohim. And he covered his face and stretched out his feet and slept the sleep of eternity, and was gathered to his fathers. And notwithstanding all this, Yaakov was lying in his bosom, and knew not that Abraham, his father's father, was dead. And Yaakov awoke from his sleep, and behold, Abraham was cold as ice. And he said, Father, Father! But there was none that spoke, and he knew that he was dead. And he arose from his bosom and ran and told Rivkah, his mother. And Rivkah went to Yitzchak in the night and told him. They went together, and Yaakov with them, and a lamp was in his hand. And when they had gone in, they found Abraham lying dead. And Yitzchak fell on his face, and Yitzchak fell on the face of his father, and wept and kissed him. And the voices were heard in the house of Abraham, and Ishmael his son arose, and went to Abraham his father, and wept over Abraham his father, he and all the house of Abraham, and they wept with a great weeping. and his sons Yitzhak and Ishmael buried him in the double cave near Sarah, his woman. And they wept for him 40 days, all the men of his house, and Yitzhak and Ishmael, and all their sons, and all the sons of Keturah in their places. And the days of weeping for Abraham were ended. And he lived 3 jubilees and 4 weeks of years, 175 years, and completed the days of his life, being old and full of many days. For the days of the forefathers of their life were 19 jubilees, and after the flood they began to grow less than 19 jubilees, and to decrease in jubilees, and to grow old quickly, and to be full of their days by reason of a manifold tribulation and the wickedness of their ways, with the exception of Abraham. For Abraham was perfect in all his deeds with Yahuwah, and well-pleasing in righteousness all the days of his life. And behold, he did not complete 4 jubilees in his life, when he had grown old by reason of the wickedness and was full of his days. All the generations which shall arise from this time until the day of the great judgment shall grow old quickly, before they complete 2 jubilees, and their knowledge shall forsake them by reason of their old age, and all their knowledge shall vanish. And in those days, if a man live a jubilee and a half of years, they shall say regarding him, he has lived long, and the greater part of his days are pain and sorrow and tribulation, and there is no peace. For calamity follows on calamity, and wound on wound, and tribulation on tribulation, and evil report on evil report, and illness on illness, and all evil judgments such as these, one with another, illness and overthrow, and snow and frost and ice and fever and chills and torpor and famine and death and sword and captivity and all kinds of calamities and pains. And all these shall come on an evil generation, which transgresses on the earth. Their works are uncleanness and fornication and pollution and abominations. Then they shall say, the days of the forefathers were many, even unto 1,000 years, and were good. But, behold, the days of our life, if a man has lived many, are 80 years and 10. And if he is strong, 80 years. And those evil, and there is no peace in the days of this evil generation. And in that generation, the sons shall convict their fathers and their elders of sin and unrighteousness, and of the words of their mouth, and the great wickedness which they perpetrate, and concerning their forsaking the covenant which Yahuwah made between them and him, that they should observe and do all his commandments and his ordinances and all his Torah, without departing either to the right hand or to the left. For all have done evil, and every mouth speaks iniquity, and all their works are an uncleanness and an abomination, and all their ways are pollution, uncleanness, and destruction. Behold, the earth shall be destroyed on account of all their works, and there shall be no seed of the vine, and no oil, For their works are altogether faithless, and they shall all perish together, beasts and cattle and birds, and all the fish of the sea, on account of the children of men. And they shall strive one with another, the young with the old with the young, the poor with the rich, the lowly with the great, and the beggar with the prince, on account of the Torah and the covenant. For they have forgotten commandment and covenant and feasts and months and Shabbatot and jubilees and all judgments. And they shall stand and they shall stand swords and war to turn them back into the way. But they shall not return until much blood has been shed on the earth, one by another. And those who have escaped shall not return from their wickedness to the way of righteousness, but they shall all exalt themselves to deceit and wealth, that they may each take all that is his neighbor's. And they shall name the great name, but not in truth, and not in righteousness. And they shall defile the Holy of Holies with their uncleanness and the corruption of their pollution. And a great punishment shall befall the deeds of this generation from Yahuwah, and he will give them over to the sword, and to judgment, and to captivity, and to be plundered and devoured. And he will wake up against them the sinners of the other nations, who shall neither mercy nor compassion, and who shall respect the person of none, neither old nor young, nor anyone. For they are more wicked and strong to do evil than all the children of men. And they shall use violence against Yashara'el, and transgression against Yaakov, and much blood shall be shed upon the earth. And there shall be none to gather and none to bury. In those days they shall cry aloud and call and pray that they may be saved from the hand of sinners, the other nations, but none shall be saved. And the heads of the children shall be white with gray hair, and a child of 3 weeks shall appear old like a man of 100 years, and their stature shall be destroyed by tribulation and oppression. And in those days the children shall begin to study the Torah, and to seek the commandments, and to return to the path of righteousness. And the days shall begin to grow many and increase amongst those children of men, till their days draw nigh to 1,000 years, and to a greater number of years than before was the number of the days. And there shall be no old man, nor one who is satisfied with his days. For all shall be as children and youths. And all their days they shall complete and live in peace and in joy. And there shall be no Satan, nor any evil destroyer, for all their days shall be days of blessing and healing. And at that time Yahuwah will heal his servants, and they shall rise up and see great peace, and drive out their adversaries. And the righteous shall see and be thankful, and rejoice with joy forever and ever, and shall see all their judgments and all their curses on their enemies. And their bones shall rest in the earth, and their ruachot shall have much joy. And they shall know that it is Yahuwah who executes judgment and shows mercy to hundreds and thousands and to all that love him. And do you, Moshe, write down these words, for thus are they written, and they record them on the heavenly tablets for a testimony for the generations forever. Yovalim Jubilees 24. And it came to pass after the death of Avraham that Yahuwah blessed Yitzchak his son. And he arose from Kevran and went and dwelt at the well of the vision in the first year of the third week of this Jubilee, 7 years. And in the first year of the fourth week, a famine began in the land, besides the first famine, which had been in the days of Avraham. And Yaakov sowed lentil pottage, and Esau came from the field hungry. And he said to Yaakov his brother, give me of this red pottage. And Yaakov said to him, sell to me your primogentir, this birthright, and I will give you bread, and also some of this lentil pottage. And Esau said in his heart, I shall die of what profit to me is this birthright? And he said to Yaakov, I give it to you. And Yaakov said, swear to me this day. And he swore unto him. And Yaakov gave his brother Esau bread and pottage, and he ate till he was satisfied, and Esau despised his birthright. For this reason was Esau's name called Edom, on account of the red pottage which Yaakov gave him for his birthright. And Yaakov became the elder, and Esau was brought down from his dignity. And the famine was over the land, and Yitzchak departed to go down into Mitzrayim in the second year of this week, and went to the king of the Pelishtim, to Gerar, unto Avimelech. And Yahuwah appeared unto him and said unto him, go not down into Mitzrayim, dwell in the land that I shall tell you of, and sojourn in this land, and I will be with you and bless you. For to you and to your seed will I give all this land, and I will establish my oath, which I swore unto Abraham your father. And I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven, and will give unto your seed all this land. And in your seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because your father obeyed my voice, and kept my charge, and my commandments, and my Torah, and my ordinances, and my covenant, and now obey my voice, and dwell in this land. And he dwelt in Gerar 3 weeks of years, and Avimelech charged concerning him, and concerning all that was his, saying, any man that shall touch him, or anything that is his, shall surely die. And Yitzchak waxed strong among the Pelishtim, and he got many possessions, oxen and sheep and camels and asses and a great household. And he sowed in the land of the Pelishtim, and brought in 100-fold. And Yitzchak became exceedingly great, and the Pelishtim envied him. Now all the wells which the servants of Abraham had dug during the life of Abraham, the Pelishtim had stopped them after the death of Abraham, and filled them with earth. And Abimelech said unto Yitzchak, Go from us, for you are much mightier than we. And Yitzchak departed thence in the first year of the 7th week, and sojourned in the valley of Gerar. And they dug again the wells of water which the servants of Abraham his father had dug, and which the Pelashittim had closed after the death of Abraham his father. And he called their names as Abraham his father had named them. And the servants of Yitzchak dug a well in the valley and found living water. And the shepherds of Gerar strove with the shepherds of Yitzchak, saying, The water is ours. And Yitzchak called the name of the well Perversity, because they had been perverse with us. And they dug a second well, and they strove for that also. And he called its name Enmity. And he arose from thence, and they dug another well, and for that they strove not. And he called the name of it Room. And Yitzchak said, Now Yahuwah has made room for us, and we have increased in the land. And he went up from thence to the well of the oath in the first year of the first week, in the 44th Jubilee. And Yahuwah appeared to him that night on the new moon of the first month, and said unto him, I am the Elohim of Abraham your father. Fear not, for I am with you, and shall bless you, and shall surely multiply your seed as the sand of the earth, for the sake of Abraham, my servant. And he built an altar there, which Abraham his father had first built, and he called upon the name of Yahuwah, and he offered sacrifice to the Elohim of Abraham his father. And they dug a well, and they found living water. And the servants of Yitzchak dug another well, and did not find water. And they went and told Yitzchak that they had not found water. And Yitzchak said, I have sworn this day to the Pelashittim, and this thing has been announced to us. And he called the name of that place the Well of the Oath, for there he had sworn to Abimelech and Akuzat, his friend, and Pikol, the perfect Or, his host. And Yitzchak knew that day that under constraint he had sworn to them to make peace with them. And Yitzchak on that day cursed the Pelashittim, and said, Cursed be the Pelashittim unto the day of wrath and indignation from the midst of all nations. May Elohim make them a derision and a curse and an object of wrath and indignation in the hands of the sinners, the other nations, and in the hands of the Kittim. And whosoever escapes the sword of the enemy and the Kittim, and may the righteous nation root out in judgment from under heaven. For they shall be the enemies and foes of my children throughout their generations upon the earth, and no remnant shall be left to them, nor one that shall be saved on the day of the wrath of judgment. For destruction and rooting out and expulsion from the earth is the whole seed of the Pelashittim, reserved. And there shall no longer be left for these Kaphtarim a name or a seed on the earth. For though he ascend unto heaven, thence shall he be brought down. And though he make himself strong on earth, thence shall he be dragged forth. And though he hide himself amongst the nations, even from thence shall he be rooted out. And though he descend into Sheol, there also shall his condemnation be great. And there also he shall have no peace. And if he go into captivity, By the hands of those that seek his life shall they slay him on the way. And neither name nor seed shall be left to him on all the earth. For into eternal malediction shall he depart. And thus it is written and engraved concerning him on the heavenly tablets, to do unto him on the day of judgment, so that he may be rooted out of the earth. Yovelim Jubilees 25. And in the second year of this week, in this Jubilee, Rivkah called Yaakov her son, and spoke unto him, saying, My son, do not take you a woman of the daughters of Canaan, as Esau your brother, who took him 2 women of the daughters of Canaan. And they have embittered my soul with all their unclean deeds. For all their deeds are fornication and lust, and there is no righteousness with them, for their deeds are evil. And I, my son, love you exceedingly, and my heart and my affection bless you every hour of the day and watch of the night. And now, my son, hearken to my voice, and do the will of your mother, and do not take you a woman of the daughters of this land, but only of the house of my father, and of my father's kindred. You shall take you a woman of the house of my father, and HalleluYAH will bless you, and your children shall be a righteous generation and a holy seed. And then spoke Yaakov to Rivkah, his mother, and said unto her, Behold, mother, I am 9 weeks of years old, and I neither know nor have I touched any woman, nor have I betrothed myself to any, nor even think of taking me a woman of the daughters of Canaan. For I remember, mother, the words of Abraham, our father, for he commanded me not to take a woman of the daughters of Canaan, but to take me a woman from the seed of my father's house, and from my kindred. I have heard before that daughters have been born to Laban, your brother, and I have set my heart on them to take a woman from amongst them. And for this reason I have guarded myself in my ruach against sinning or being corrupted in all my ways throughout all the days of my life. For with regard to lust and fornication, Abraham, my father, gave me many commands. And despite all that he has commanded me, these 22 years, my brother has striven with me and spoken frequently to me and said, My brother, take to be your woman a sister of my 2 women. But I refuse to do as he has done. I swear before you, mother, that all the days of my life I will not take me a woman from the daughters of the seed of Canaan, and I will not act wickedly as my brother has done. Fear not, mother. Be assured that I shall do your will and walk in uprightness and not corrupt my ways forever. And thereupon she lifted up her face to heaven and extended the fingers of her hands and opened her mouth and blessed HalleluYAH, who had created the heavens and the earth. And she gave him thanks and praise. And she said, Blessed be Yahuwah Elohim, and may his holy name be blessed forever and ever. Who has given me Yaakov as a pure son and a holy seed, for he is yours, and yours shall his seed be continually, and throughout all the generations forevermore. Bless him, O Yahuwah, and place in my mouth the blessing of righteousness, that I may bless him. And at that hour, when the Ruach Ruach Sidakah, descended into her mouth, she placed both her hands on the head of Yaakov and said, "Blessed are you, Yahuwah, of righteousness, and Elohim of the ages. And may he bless you beyond all the generations of men. May he give you, my son, the path of righteousness, and reveal righteousness to your seed. And may he make your sons many during your life, and may they arise according to the number of the months of the year, and may their sons become many, and great beyond the stars of heaven, and their numbers be more than the sand of the sea. And may he give them this goodly land, as he said he would give it, to Abraham, and to his seed after him, always. And may they hold it as a possession forever. And may I see born unto you, my son, blessed children during my life, and a blessed and holy seed may all your seed be. And as you have refreshed your mother's ruach during her life, the womb of her that bore you blesses you thus. My affection and my breasts bless you, and my mouth and my tongue praise you greatly. Increase and spread over the earth. May your seed be perfect in the joy of heaven and earth forever. And may your seed rejoice. And on the great day of peace, may it have peace. And may your name and your seed endure to all the ages. And may El Elyon be their Elohim. And may the Elohim of righteousness tabernacle with them. And by them may his sanctuary be built unto all the ages. Blessed be he that blesses you, and all flesh that curses you falsely, may it be cursed. And she kissed him and said to him, May Yahuwah of the world love you as the heart of your mother, and her affection rejoice in you and bless you. And she ceased from blessing. Yovelim, Jubilees 26. And in the 7th year of this week, Yitzchak called Esau, his elder son, and said unto him, I am old, my son, and behold, my eyes are dim in seeing, and I know not the day of my death. And now take your hunting weapons, your quiver and your bow, and go out to the field, and hunt and catch me venison, my son, and make me savory meat, such as my soul loves, and bring it to me that I may eat, and that my soul may bless you before I die. But Rivkah heard Yitzchak speaking to Esau, and Esau went forth early to the field, to hunt and catch and bring home to his father. And Rivkah called Yaakov her son, and said unto him, Behold, I heard Yitzchak your father speak unto Esau your brother, saying, Hunt for me, and make me savory meat, and bring it to me, that I may eat and bless you before Yahuwah, before I die. And now, my son, obey my voice in that which I command you. Go to your flock, and fetch me 2 good kids of the goats, and I will make them savory meat for your father, such as he loves. And you shall bring it to your father, that he may eat and bless you before Yahuwah, before he die, and that you may be blessed. And Yaakov said to Rivkah his mother, Mother, I shall not withhold anything which my father would eat, and which would please him. Only I fear, my mother, that he will recognize my voice and wish to touch me. And you know that I am smooth, and Esau my brother is hairy, and I shall appear before his eyes as an evildoer, and shall do a deed which he had not commanded me, and he will be wroth with me. And I shall bring upon myself a curse, and not a blessing. And Rivkah, his mother, said unto him, Upon me be your curse, my son, only obey my voice. And Yaakov obeyed the voice of Rivkah, his mother, and went and fetched 2 good and fat kids of the goats, and brought them to his mother, and his mother made them savory meat, such as he loved. And Rivkah took the goodly raiment of Esau, her elder son, which was with her in the house, and she clothed Yaakov, her younger son, with them. And she put the skins of the kids upon his hands and on the exposed parts of his neck. And she gave the meat and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Yaakov. And Yaakov went in to his father and said, I am your son. I have done according as you bade me. Arise and sit, and eat of that which I have caught, Father, that your soul may bless me. And Yitzchak said to his son, How have you found so quickly, my son? And Yaakov said, Because Yahuwah Eloheka caused me to find. And Yitzchak said unto him, Come near, that I may feel you, my son, if you are my son Esau or not. And Yaakov went near to Yitzchak, his father, and he felt him and said, The voice is Yaakov's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he discerned him not, because it was a dispensation from heaven to remove his power of perception. And Yitzchak discerned not, for his hands were hairy as his brother Esau's, so that he blessed him. And he said, Are you my son Esau? And he said, I am your son. And he said, Bring near to me, that I may eat of that which you have caught, my son, that my soul may bless you. And he brought near to him, and he did eat, and he brought him wine, and he drank. And Yitzchak his father said unto him, Come near and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him. And he smelled the smell of his raiment, and he blessed him and said, Behold, the smell of my son is as the smell of a full field which Yahuwah has blessed. And may Yahuwah give you of the dew of heaven and of the dew of the earth, and plenty of grain and oil. Let nations serve you, and peoples bow down to you. Be Lord over your brethren, and let your mother's sons bow down to you. And may all the blessings wherewith Yahuwah has blessed me and blessed Abraham, my father, be imparted to you and to your seed forever. Cursed be he that curses you, and blessed be he that blesses you. And it came to pass, as soon as Yitzchak had made an end of blessing his son Yaakov, and Yaakov had gone forth from Yitzchak his father, he hid himself, and Esau his brother came in from his hunting. And he also made savory meat, and brought it to his father, and said unto his father, Let my father arise and eat of my venison, that your soul may bless me. And Yitzchak his father said unto him, Who are you? And he said unto him, I am your firstborn, your son Esau. I have done as you have commanded me. And Yitzchak was very greatly astonished, and said, Who is he that has hunted and caught and brought it to me? And I have eaten of all before you came, and have blessed him. And he said, and he shall be blessed, and all his seed forever. And it came to pass, when Esau heard the words of his father Yitzchak, that he cried with an exceeding great and bitter cry, and said unto his father, Bless me. And he said, Have you not reserved a blessing for me, father? And Yitzchak answered and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him your lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants. And with plenty of grain and wine and oil have I strengthened him. And what now shall I do for you, my son? And Esau said to Yitzchak, his father, have you but one blessing, O father? Bless me, even me also, father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Yitzchak answered and said unto him, behold, far from the dew of the earth shall be your dwelling, and far from the dew of heaven from above. And by your sword will you live, and you will serve your brother. And it shall come to pass, when you become great, and do shake his yoke from off your neck, you shall sin a complete sin unto death, and your seed shall be rooted out from under heaven. And Esau kept threatening Yaakov because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him, and he said in his heart, may the days of mourning for my father now come, so that I may slay my brother Yaakov. Yovalim Jubilees 27. And the words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rivkah in a dream. And Rivkah sent and called Yaakov, her younger son, and said unto him, behold, Esau your brother will take vengeance on you so as to kill you. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice, and arise and flee you to Lavan, my brother, to Haran, and tarry with him a few days until your brother's anger turns away, and he remove his anger from you, and forget all that you have done. Then I will send and fetch you from thence. And Yaakov said, I am not afraid. If he wishes to kill me, I will kill him. But she said unto him, let me not be bereft of both my sons on one day. And Yaakov said to Rivkah his mother, behold, you know that my father has become old, and does not see because his eyes are dull. And if I leave him, it will be evil in his eyes, because I leave him and go away from you. And my father will be angry and will curse me. I will not go. When he sends me, then only will I go. And Rivkah said to Yaakov, I will go in and speak to him, and he will send you away. And Rivkah went in and said to Yitzchak, I loathe my life because of the two daughters of Chet, whom Esau has taken him as women. And if Yaakov take a woman from among the daughters of the land such as these, for what purpose do I further live? For the daughters of Canaan are evil. And Yitzchak called Yaakov and blessed him, and admonished him, and said unto him, do not take you a woman of any of the daughters of Canaan. Arise and go to Aram Naharaim, to the house of Bethuel, your mother's father, and take you a woman from thence of the daughters of Lavan, your mother's brother. And El Shaddai bless you, and increase and multiply you, that you may become a company of nations, and give you the blessings of my father Abraham, to you and to your seed after you, that you may inherit the land of your sojournings, and all the land which Elohim gave to Abraham. Go, my son, in peace. And Yitzchak sent Yaakov away, and he went to Aram Naharaim, to Laban, the son of Bethuel, the Aramee, the brother of Rivkah, Yaakov's mother. And it came to pass, after Yaakov had arisen to go to Aram Naharaim, that the ruach of Rivkah was grieved after her son, and she wept. And Yitzchak said to Rivkah, my sister, weep not on account of Yaakov, my son, for he goes in peace, and in peace will he return. HalleluYAH will guard him from all evil, and will be with him, for he will not forsake him all his days. For I know that his ways will be prospered in all things, wherever he goes, until he return in peace to us, and we see him in peace. Fear not on his account, my sister, for he is on the upright path, and he is a perfect man, and he is faithful and will not perish. Weep not. And Yitzchak comforted Rivka on account of her son Yaakov, and blessed him. And Yaakov went from the well of the oath to go to Haran on the first year of the second week in the 44th Jubilee. And he came to Luz on the mountains, that is Beit El, on the new moon of the first month of this week. And he came to the place at evening and turned from the way to the west of the road that night. And he slept there, for the sun had set. And he took one of the stones of that place and laid under the tree. And he was journeying alone, and he slept. And he dreamt that night, and behold, a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven. And behold, the angels of Yahuwah ascended and descended on it. And behold, Yahuwah stood upon it. And he spake to Yaakov and said, I am Yahuwah Elohim of Abraham, your father, and the Elohim of Yitzchak, the land whereon you are sleeping. To you will I give it, and to your seed after you. And your seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and you shall increase to the west and to the east, to the north and to the south. And in you and in your seed shall all the families of the nations be blessed. And behold, I will be with you, and will guard you whithersoever you go, and I will bring you again into this land in peace. For I will not leave you until I do everything that I told you of. And Yaakov awoke from his sleep and said, Truly this place is the house of Yahuwah, and I knew it not. And he was afraid and said, Dreadful is this place, which is none other than the house of Elohim, and this is the gate of heaven. And Yaakov arose early in the morning, and took the stone which he had put under his feet, and set it up as a pillar for a sign, and he poured oil upon the top of it. And he called the name of that place Beit El, but the name of the place was Luz at the first. And Yaakov vowed a vow unto Yahuwah, saying, If Yahuwah will be with me, and will guard me in this way that I go, and give me bread to eat, and raiment to put on, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then shall Yahuwah be my Elohim, and this stone which I have set up as a pillar for a sign in this place shall be Yahuwah's house. And of all that you give me, I shall give the 10th to you, my Elohim. Yophalim Jubilees 28. And he went on his journey and came to the land of the east, to Lavan, the brother of Rivka. And he was with him, and served him for Rachel his daughter 1 week. And in the first year of the 3rd week, he said unto him, Give me my woman, for whom I have served you 7 years. And Lavan said unto Yaakov, I will give you your woman. And Lavan made a feast, and took Leah his elder daughter, and gave her to Yaakov as a woman, and gave her Zilpah his handmaid for a handmaid. And Yaakov did not know, for he thought that she was Rachel. And he went in unto her, and behold, she was Leah. And Yaakov was angry with Laban, and said unto him, Why have you dealt thus with me? Did not I serve you for Rachel, and not for Leah? Why have you wronged me? Take your daughter, and I will go, for you have done evil to me. For Yaakov loved Rachel more than Leah, for Leah's eyes were weak, but her form was very handsome. But Rachel had beautiful eyes, and a beautiful and very handsome form. And Laban said to Yaakov, It is not so done in our country to give the younger before the elder. And it is not right to do this, for thus it is ordained and written in the heavenly tablets, that no one should give his younger daughter before the elder, but the elder. One gives first, and after her the younger. And the man who does so, they set down guilt against him in heaven. And none is righteous that does this thing. For this deed is evil before Yahuwah.
I'm a burrito.
And command you the children of Yashara'el, that they do not this thing. Let them neither take nor give the younger before they have given the elder, for it is very wicked. And Laban said to Yaakov, Let the 7 days of the feast of this one pass by, and I shall give you Rachel, that you may serve me another 7 years, that you may pasture my sheep, as you did in the former week. And on the day when the 7 days of the feast of Leah had passed, Laban gave Rachel to Yaakov, that he might serve him another 7 years, and he gave to Rachel Bilhah, the sister of Zilpah, as a handmaid. And he served yet other 7 years for Rachel, for Leah had been given to him for nothing. And Yahuwah opened the womb of Leah, and she conceived and bore Yaakov a son. And he called his name Reuven, on the 14th day of the 9th month, in the 1st year of the 3rd week. But the womb of Rachel was closed, for Yahuwah saw that Leah was hated and Rachel loved. And again Yaakov went in unto Leah, and she conceived, and bore Yaakov a second son. And he called his name Shimon, on the 21st of the 10th month, and in the 3rd year of this week. And again Yaakov went in unto Leah, and she conceived, and bore him a 3rd son, and he called his name Levi, in the new moon of the 1st month, in the 6th year of this week. And again Yaakov went in unto her, and she conceived, and bore him a 4th son, and he called his name Yahudah, on the 15th of the 3rd month, in the 1st year of the 4th week. And on account of all this, Rachel envied Leah, for she did not bear. And she said to Yaakov, Give me children. And Yaakov said, Have I withheld from you the fruits of your womb? Have I forsaken you? And when Rachel saw that Leah had borne 4 sons to Yaakov, Reuven and Shimon and Levi and Yahudah, she said unto him, Go in unto Bilhah, my handmaid, and she will conceive, and bear a son unto me. And she gave him Bilhah, her handmaid, to be his woman. And he went in unto her, and she conceived, and bore him a son. And he called his name Dan, on the 9th of the 6th month, in the 6th year of the 3rd week. And Yaakov went in again unto Bilhah a 2nd time, and she conceived, and bore Yaakov another son. And Rachel called his name Naphtali, on the 5th of the 7th month, in the 2nd year of the 4th week. And when Leah saw that she had become sterile and did not bear, she envied Rachel, She also gave her handmaid Zilpah to Yaakov to be his woman. And she conceived and bore a son, and Leah called his name Gad on the 12th of the 8th month, in the 3rd year of the 4th week. And he went in again unto her, and she conceived, and bore him a second son. And Leah called his name Asher on the 2nd of the 11th month, in the 5th year of the 4th week. And Yaakov went in unto Leah, and she conceived, and bore a son, and she called his name Yishakar on the 4th of the 5th month, in the 4th year of the 4th week, and she gave him to a nurse. And Yaakov went in again unto her, and she conceived, and bore 2 children, a son and a daughter, and she called the name of the son Zebulun, and the name of the daughter Dinah, in the 7th of the 7th month, in the 6th year of the 4th week. And Yahuwah was gracious to Rachel, and opened her womb, and she conceived, and bore a son. And she called his name Yosef, on the new moon of the 4th month, in the 6th year, in this 4th week. And in the days when Yosef was born, Yaakov said to Laban, Give me my women and sons, and let me go to my father Yitzchak, and let me make me a house. For I have completed the years in which I have served you for your 2 daughters, and I will go to the house of my father. And Laban said to Yaakov, Tarry with me for your wages, and pasture my flocks for me again, and take your wages. And they agreed with one another that he should give him as his wages those of the lambs and kids which were born black and spotted and white. These were to be his wages. And all the sheep brought forth spotted and speckled and black, variously marked. And they brought forth again lambs like themselves, and all that were spotted were Yaakov's, and those which were not were Laban's. And Yaakov's possessions multiplied exceedingly, and he possessed oxen and sheep and asses and camels and men servants and maid servants. And Laban and his sons envied Yaakov, and Laban took back his sheep from him, and he observed him with evil intent.